Dog Biscuit. By Helen Cooper. Hungry Bridget stole a biscuit, found the biscuits in the shed. They were made for dogs to eat, but Bridget ate the dog biscuit. It tasted salty and sweet at the same time. It tasted good. Mrs. Blair found Bridget there, with telltale crumbs around her mouth. "Oh my," she said, and shook her head. "You'll go bow wow and turn into a dog." "Don't tell my mom," begged Bridget. She wished she hadn't eaten that biscuit. "I won't say a word," said Mrs. Blair, and winked. Mrs. Blair's dog winked too. And Bridget thought she heard it say, "I used to be a child like you. Before the happy day, I ate a dog biscuit." Bridget's mom was rather late. While they waited, Bridget felt an itch behind her ears. Maybe they were growing. Mom didn't notice a thing. Bridget wasn't telling. Mrs. Blair waved goodbye. The dog wagged its tail, and Bridget wagged her new tail in reply. On the way home, they stopped at the butcher's shop. Bridget sniffed the air and tried a few little woofs. The butcher smiled at Bridget's mom. "Good little pup you've got there," he said. "That proved it, didn't it?" Bridget wished she hadn't eaten that biscuit. Mom still didn't notice a thing. Bridget wasn't telling. But at supper time she gobbled her sausage and gnawed her chop and spilled her milk. And her brother joined in until Dad yelled, "It's like eating with a pack of dogs." At bath time, Bridget was a wild dog. At bedtime, even wilder. At story time, she was so full of mischief, Dad gave up. Yet Mom still didn't notice a thing. Bridget wasn't telling, though she wished as she curled at the foot of her bed that she hadn't eaten that biscuit. Deep in the night, Bridget awoke. When the moon was soon to rise, she heard the sound of someone outside. She smelled their scent, as a wild dog can. Into the light bounded Mrs. Blair's dog, calling, "Time for some fun!" And Bridget went. She romped in the gloom with Mrs. Blair's dog. They tumbled in the shadows and the vegetable beds. Then Mrs. Blair's dog leaped over the hedge. Bridget went too, and was swept on the night wind into the park, into the dark, to run and bark with the rest of the wild dog pack. They promised a wolfish midnight feast to Bridget and Mrs. Blair's dog. Then the wild hunt sped up the hill, past the bandstand, the swings, and the paddling pool. The moment the moon climbed to the sky, the bandstand became a great meat pie, and heavenly sausages rained from the stars. And when they had all eaten their fill, they drank from the moonlit milkshake pool. And Bridget was happy indeed that she'd eaten that biscuit. Until she thought of her brother, her mom, and her dad. A dog for a daughter might make them sad. She gazed at the great dog biscuit moon and howled so loudly, made so much din, that the moon exploded and the sky fell in. Gone were the hounds, gone was the moon. Bridget found herself back in her room, with a mom who had noticed that something was wrong. So at last, Bridget told Mom about eating that biscuit. "Mrs. Blair was teasing," said Mom. "She wasn't," sniffed Bridget. "Can't you see?" "Not very well in the dark," smiled Mom. "But you smell like my little girl to me. Could we curl up like puppies, just us two? And tomorrow we'll ask Mrs. Blair what to do." Bridget felt girlish again the next day, but they visited Mrs. Blair anyway. Mrs. Blair shook her head. "Of course it was a joke," she said. "I'm sorry if I worried you. Let's go in and brew some tea and find my tin of human being treats." That did the trick. And Mrs. Blair's dog had one too. The end.